This is Sports Den. Hello and welcome to a new year and a new season of Sports Den. Episode number 4 here for 2015. And Megan Knipe to my left, a Happy New Year to you and a Happy New Year to everybody else out there.
Happy New Year to you too. And unfortunately, we're missing Jeff. I have no one to mess around with tonight.
Absolutely. Dr. Dredd, nowhere to be found at this point, but he will be back with us and around. A lot of people hemmed in by a cold day, certainly throughout the day today. Happy New Year again from all of us to all of you, and the new year is off to a rousing start. We've got a lot to get to across the sports. We'll take a deeper look at Blaine High School girls basketball coming up later on the show, and we've also got different games to get to, and that's going to just ramp up even more for us here at North Metro TV. We got our coverage for the new year started last Saturday with a hockey game, but last night, Megan, we went inside in the gym, the familiar gym that you know well at Centennial High School, had some boys basketball action and maybe a closer game last night than we thought was going to be off the tip.
Exactly. Centennial made some really good strides over Christmas break. They went 2-1 in their Tartan Holiday Tournament, but when they faced Anoka last night, I think they got a different challenge than they expected. So let's take a look at those highlights. In this matchup, Centennial faced a defensive challenge. The man to stop for Anoka last night was 6'6" senior Maxim Kakarchik. In the first half, he had 10 points from both inside the paint and outside the arc. Using his body control and height, he became the scoring focus for Anoka's offense and kept the Tornadoes within reach. But for the Cougars, it was Tyler Peterson who helped his team stay up in the first half. With a big three-point shot at the end of the first, the Cougars were up 26-23 and they led by 1 at half. In the second, it was the Cougars' defense that made all the difference. Steals let Centennial extend its lead with a layup by Peterson here. And soon after, Sam Deutsch would get another steal. And on the fast break with Connor Lund for 2 points, it was a pretty fast break. Possible play of the week nominee right here. The Cougars now have a 42-35 lead with just under 9 to go. However, Anoka stayed close. Bryce Doppler with a spin move and layup to make it a 1-point game, and Anoka's free throws gave them a 45-44 lead. Off a turnover here, Peterson didn't back down and gets a huge block for Centennial, and they get some of their momentum back. There's a nice replay of that. Back up by 3, Peterson with a strong drive, and he'll be able to finish at the rim to give Centennial a 3-point lead. But a backdoor cut and layup by Anoka bring them within 2 with just under 13 seconds to play. The Cougars would make a free throw, giving Anoka a chance to tie it at the end, but Gunnar Ledeen misses the first, and Chase Thomas can't get his to go either, and the Cougars just come away with a win. As I said last night, they looked like they were stressed when the game was over, but the final score was 52-49. Our own Mary Peters caught up with Connor Lund and Tyler Peterson after the game.
What did Coach tell you at halftime?
We need to play more as a team and turn the ball over less.
What do you think gave you guys the win in tonight's game?
Teamwork at the end, passed the ball around, and it ended up good.
Second half, we took more time on offense with our possessions that led to less turnovers.
All right, and then what do you plan on working on before the next game?
For sure, less turnovers and getting better shots.
We hop back in the time machine a bit to December for another close call game that we had here on North Metro TV. Panthers of Spring Lake Park taking on Park Center. It was back and forth, couple of runs. Jeff Roosh knocking down a deep 3 right here to put Spring Lake Park up in this one by 7. Pirates did get back into it before the half with an 8-3 run inside of 3 minutes to go. They made it a 2-point game at the half and then came out strong in the second, but it became the Corey Bird show for the Panthers. There's a play of the week nominee right there. We'll break that one down for you a little later on. Bird gets that nomination off the hesitation. 3-pointer for Lawrence Ogunti for Park Center. Pirates just weren't going away in this one, but then more Bird, this time with the defense. He'll take it 3/4 length of the floor. Layup at the other end to tie the game once more at 52. Panthers would come back down 2 points. Aaron Flink, who had a big game as well, nice sidestep jumper to the baseline. Flink knocks it down 2 of his 14 on the night. Panthers clinging to a 1-point lead. All of a sudden it becomes a 2-point deficit. The deep 3, long distance charges on that one. to put the Pirates up by 2, but Bird again with the steal, and once more inside of a minute, the steal in the bucket ties the game up. So Pirates ball still tied inside of 15 seconds. Bird on the defense. Layup no good. Offensive rebound. Bird takes it away. Just seconds remaining, in fact, under a second, as Bird is fouled. 0.7 left officially on the clock as he's raked across the arm right there. Tough place to foul if you're the Pirates. So tie game, he goes to the line. He missed the first, puts pressure on the second. This one he nets. 0.7 left, desperation heave, and that's going to be knocked away. We talked with Flink and Bird after the Panthers' close call win.
On offense, we really limited our turnovers. We scored the ball better than we have in past games. Defensively, we've stopped their key players from making big plays.
I just want to see us just keep winning games and just keep working hard and practice, keep going after each other, and just show everybody that just because we're a small school doesn't mean we can compete with the biggest schools.
Spring Lake Park getting the big victory there. The Panthers, they took a tough loss yesterday, 73-56 to Robbinsdale Armstrong. As you take a look at their basketball schedule as well. Still number 4 in Section 3A. They've struggled a little bit, but we'll see if they can get that momentum back from the break that they had.
Looking back to the Cougars' schedule, we saw they just won over Anoka last night. Tomorrow they will travel to Maple Grove and followed by hosting Totino Grace on the 13th.
Last night, the Blaine Bengals maybe had the toughest matchup of anywhere as they took on Champlin Park. Unfortunately, lost 98-27 to Champlin Park. But some big games coming up as well. They're 6-7 right now, and perhaps poised as you look ahead to maybe that Centennial matchup again later in the month, poised to make a bit of a run right now. We've also got the standings in the Northwest Suburban Conference. As you take a look at the West, Maple Grove on top, 10-1. Armstrong's also 10-1, but 6-0 in conference for the Crimson. You see the Panthers there at 1-5 and 3-10 overall. That conference schedule has not been kind to Spring Lake Park. Up in the North, Champlin still unbeaten overall at 12-0, 6-0 in conference play. Cougars 4-2 right there in the thick of things, and Blaine at 3-3, 6-7 overall. The Bengals right in the middle of the pack in boys basketball. And Megan, there's still obviously so much to be decided at this point in basketball, both on the boys and the girls side. It's a fun time of year. We talked about a little last night on the broadcast. You get those holiday tournaments that get you out of conference play. You maybe see how you stack up with other teams across the state that you're not used to seeing.
Exactly. It's nice to kind of step away from the teams you're so familiar with and put you kind of in a different test. And over the Christmas break, Centennial girls basketball put together a nice pair of wins in the Roseville Holiday Tournament. Their first one coming over Cambridge Asante, and let's take a look at those highlights. The Cambridge Blue Jackets got out to an early lead, up 7-4 at the 10:30 mark, but after that it was all Cougars. The first lead for Centennial came off an offensive rebound and putback by Nikki Clark off a fast break, and the Cougars are now up 14-9, and it once again is Clark, this time from outside the arc. She finished the game with 12 points. Continuing on the Cougars' 26-4 run, JC Girding with a nice assist back to Paige Comer for the outside shot, and she would finish the game with 10 points. In the final seconds of the first half, Claire Orth gets the drive inside and finishes to make it 30-13 going into the half. Second half, Sarah Groh with the post up, and she'll get it over her defender for an early bucket. She'd scored 13 on the night for the Cougars. With the lead cut to 14 points, Sarah Stapleton steps up and converts on a three-point play, and the lead's back to 17. With under 9:30 to go, a long two by Girding settles things for the Cougars. They maintained a double-digit lead for the rest of the game, and the next layup by Comer puts Centennial up by 18. The final score of this game, Centennial 68, Cambridge Asante 52, and 5 Cougars finished in double digits. Coming up for Centennial girls basketball after their win versus Anoka, they will host Maple Grove on the 8th and then travel to Totino Grace on the 13th.
Blaine girls basketball sitting right now at 5-5. A loss yesterday. Also played Champlin Park just like the boys did. 69-48 the final score on your Tuesday night matchup for the Blaine Bengals. Big games coming up. Spring Lake Park up next, kind of the rivalry renewed now that they're in the Northwest Suburban together.
And looking at Spring Lake Park girls basketball, they had a tough loss to Robbinsdale Armstrong on the 6th. Tomorrow they travel to Blaine and they will host Andover on the 13th and Anoka on the 16th. Looking at the Northwest Suburban Conference standings, In the North, we got Centennial in third place, 3-2 in conference, 7-4 overall, and Blaine is second to last in sixth with 1-4 and a 5-5 overall conference. Moving on to the West, Spring Lake Park's at the very bottom at seventh at 0-5 in conference, looking there for their first win, while Maple Grove is 6-0 in conference at the top.
Like we said, a lot to figure out as far as that goes, and some of these teams kind of hitting their stride right now when it comes to basketball, or at least trying to do that at this point.
Yeah, and it's still pretty early in conference, so I mean, some losses are kind of just figuring things out as you get comfortable playing as a team, but you know, kind of once Christmas hits from there on out, you usually have your team figured out and you're kind of ready to go with what you've got.
The Blaine Bengal girls basketball team as well. We'll get a little more in-depth, and we'll do that right now. It's your first edition of Sports Den of 2015. Let's take a look at how the Lady Bengals are doing so far this season with our coaches and captains edition. Blaine Bengal girls basketball.
Last year was the first year of being a head coach. We finished the season with 6 wins and 20 losses. I had inherited a team that had previously went 0-26 without winning a game the previous year. The girls have been through a lot.
We have been having losing records so far lately these past 2 years. So we're definitely planning to go over 500 this year. Also, we're planning on being more of a team and just being more well-rounded and supporting each other more.
Last year, I think, was a big stepping stone and improvement program-wide.
It hasn't really been what we expected, but this year we're planning to do very well. We want to have a winning record, that's for sure, and we've been working hard.
The big thing this year, the difference that I'm looking for is being able to finish games, knowing how to win, capitalize on other teams' mistakes, and then make sure that our turnovers are at a minimum.
I love basketball because I love playing with my teammates and being on the floor. I love being a part of something bigger than myself. I definitely love the competition aspect of it and the thrill.
It means a lot, actually. I made JV as a freshman, and I wanted to be a leader for the younger girls all throughout my high school career, and I'm so happy that I actually got it.
The expectations are high. We figured that we took some bumps and bruises, and I think we made some strides, but we also did a lot of learning. Most of those girls played together this summer. We had a tremendous fall league. The girls excelled, and you can see the improvement. And coming into this year, they're super excited, and I'm happy for them. This group of seniors deserves to have their year.
We've been kind of down. People kind of look down on us the past couple years, but this year's we're coming back. We're going to be good. We've been working hard, so come watch.
And the Bengals indeed trying to be a team that is on the rise at this point this season. Like you said, a lot of season to play.
Exactly. They've only played, what, five conference games so far, so nothing's really decided yet.
Not at all. And as we go to break, we've got a trivia question too. Not basketball, but hockey.
Yes, the trivia question for this week is who won the Let's Play Hockey Goalie of the Year award for Centennial Girls Hockey? He knows the answer. He just told me. Do you know the answer?
Next week, we will share that answer with you as well right here on Sports Den, as we're here live every week at 6 o'clock on North Metro TV. You can replay it along with any of our other broadcasts, northmetrotv.com on demand. Also order DVDs of those games as well. All those details, northmetrotv.com. We'll get you all that information on the way back. But first a break, still more basketball, or still more hockey on the other side. It's Sports Den on North Metro TV.
Known for its vineyards and hilltop villages, Umbria is also known for its delicious tasting pizza. Made traditionally from the finest ingredients, Umbria Pizzeria will make you taste the difference, smell the love, and transport you to Italy.
La cena è pronta. Dinner's ready.
You might even begin to feel like an Italian.
Delicioso.
Umbria Pizzeria, turning taste into memories.
Back with you here on North Metro TV. We just gave you that trivia question for next week about girls hockey. If you recall, again, we've been in the time machine once already. We'll sort of jump into the time machine going back one more time with some hockey coming up. But we did have the trivia question before Christmas, Megan. If you remember, it was, what is the #1 all-time Christmas song? There was much debate with Jeff up here over what he thought that was. Turns out our crack team of writers and researchers have figured out that it is White Christmas, which of course is written by Irving Berlin, but specifically sung by many people. I'm sure you've sung it at some point.
I sing it all the time.
Absolutely, all the time. But the Bing Crosby version specifically. So if you had Bing Crosby, Irving Berlin, and White Christmas across your trifecta for this week's trivia question, you are correct and win our respect and admiration. Hockey was our trivia question for next week, so we'll dive right into girls hockey with Elk River and Blaine. Over the weekend, the Blaine girls hockey team got into Northwest Suburban play again after the new year. The Elks of Elk River Zimmerman came in, and they came in averaging almost 4 goals per game. Bengals needed something to change in order to get a victory, and boy, did they have something change. Michaela Tilton, their goalie, changed all the expectations. The senior turned in an outstanding performance in net, wire to wire. You see her under duress with a quick shot in the first period. Here, another long shot finds its way through traffic, and then she has to deal with the rebounds and deflections as well. Tilton, 27 of 27 in net with those save chances, and yes, that becomes a shutout for her. More from her coming up. But what about some goals for her in front of her? None until the second period. Gabby Rosenthal up the right side finds the back of the net. 1-0 Bengals. Stayed right there into the third period at 1-0. It almost took them 5 minutes, though, into the third period to find another goal as the Bengals do a great job holding it in. Kirsty Ziegler deflects off of her shot. Gina Rosevold slams it home. It's 2-0 Bengals, and the way that Tilton was playing, this one seemed to be in the bag for Blaine. But 11 minutes later, Elk River, already with an advantage, pulls the goalie, so a 2-man advantage, and somehow Courtney Moser finds the puck. Then she finds Paige Beebe on the doorstep, maybe the easiest of all for Beebe. Plenty of scoring, 3-0, Tilton with the shutout. We heard from the goaltender and her coach.
I think we were at a rough start, but throughout the year now we're doing a lot better than we did before. I kind of focus before the games a lot, and then when I get out on the ice, I talk to my D, and they help me out a lot.
We didn't talk about anything special other than, do what we do, and that's been our focus, is just take care of ourselves. They are a very good offense, and, they got a couple kids that can really shoot the puck, and, we were able to get sticks on them and take away some of their opportunities, and Michaela did a great job for us. She made some big saves and kept us into it, especially early.
Bengals have now won 6 of their last 7. As you'll see there, the only loss 2-1, a squeaker to Thief River Falls. They also got a second win in this 2015 calendar year, 4-1 last night over Andover.
The Centennial girls hockey now sitting at 10-6. They're tied third in the Northwest Conference with Blaine. They're coming off a win against Champlain Park, and on the 10th they will host Anoka, and on the 13th they will travel to Blaine to play the Bengals.
The Panthers of Spring Lake Park, St. Anthony Village, right there just as hot as Blaine. May have won 5 straight games, including 3 in the Schwann Cup over the holiday break, so some confidence coming from there. They're 5th in that string, 3-1 last night over Totino Grace for Spring Lake Park, St. Anthony Village girls hockey.
And taking a look at the girls hockey Northwest Suburban Conference standings, we see Blaine is 4th with 8-3. Centennial Cougars are in 3rd with 8-3-1. And Spring Lake Park comes in 5th at 6-5, or excuse me, they come in 6th at 6-5 with an 11-7 overall record.
Jam-packed. There's a lot of teams, just as this is the only conference that they don't break up at this point. But all of the teams that we cover here on North Metro TV fighting right now in the Northwest Suburban. On the boys' side, Spring Lake Park, the boys, they just cracked the top 20. Don't look now at the Panthers, but they are starting to make a rise as well. They're sitting in the upper half of the Northwest Suburban Conference themselves as the new year came apart. They've done so by putting wins together in 6 of their last 7 games. That run got started before the break as they went on the road to visit the Armstrong Cooper Wings, brand new team there, the Wings, and you'll see why as the Panthers and the Wings went scoreless through the first period. Panthers, or scoreless rather, in the first period. Panthers would shove the puck out front for Jacob Nystrom, who is just having himself a season, and Nystrom makes it a 1-0 lead past goalie Keegan Odell. Another goal for him, his 7th of the season at that point. Still 1-0, but Armstrong Cooper on the power play taken away as Noah Borman couldn't handle it. Corey Gilbert, then off a deflection, would be able to pound it home to tie the game at 1. We stay there. On we go to the second period in this road matchup for the Panthers. Again, Armstrong Cooper on the power play. This time a break across neutral ice. Nick Holscher able to fire the puck. He goes top shelf in past Aaron Furlano, the goalie. That makes it 2-1 Wings. So playing from behind late in the third will go for the Spring Lake Park Panthers with this 2-1 game in conference and a big matchup. Panthers settled by Borman eventually between the circles. He'll get it back, fires the one-timer, and we're all tied with, just as you see, 5:28 to go. And we would stay there. So to overtime we go in hostile territory for the Panthers, trying to eke out another win. Long pass up the ice in overtime, 4 minutes in for John Kelly. Shifts the puck to Connor Gagnon, back to Kelly, and he's able to beat the goalie. That is also a Play of the Week nominee. Gets that for his effort, and a 3-2 win for the Panthers. Use that to spur themselves to 2 wins in the Schwann Cup as well.
And looking at the Panthers' schedule, they're coming off a win against Chisago Lakes. They now sit at 10-4. And upcoming for them is a pair of away games at Totino Grace on the 8th and at Coon Rapids on the 15th.
Mentioned that the Panthers check in at number 20 in Class A. In Class 2A, the Blaine Bengals check in as of today at number 12. It's been up and down. They're just 6-5 and an even record in conference play, but I think that tells you something about the Northwest Suburban Conference. Next matchup is Thursday at home against Andover for the Bengals.
And Centennial boys hockey there at 7-5, 3-3 in the Northwest Suburban Conference, again tied for 7th with Blaine. They just lost to Elk River on the 3rd, and on the 9th they will host Moorhead and then travel to Anoka the next day on the 10th.
As for the standings on the boys' side, we mentioned it. Look who's sitting pretty atop the Northwest Suburban Conference West. That is your 4-0 in conference Panthers. Totino Grace, Osseo both 3-1, and the rest of the pack, including Armstrong Cooper, you saw some of just there in the West. A lot of teams with some positive records, but tough records in conference in the North. Elk River leading the way, 7-0, 11-3. Then the Crimson of Maple Grove, 4-2. Anoka's 3-2. Bengals are 2-3 along with the Cougars. But again, both teams at this point in a good position in the Northwest Suburban Conference, just ahead of the Huskies and the Rebels, with some big games coming up as well for both of those two teams. And hockey, just like we talked about, getting into its stride. Wrestling as well going to hit its stride. We've had some wrestling already. Centennial with their triangular coming up as their next matchup. They had the Rumble on the road in which they came in 16th place.
Looking at Blaine's wrestling schedule, they will host Andover on the 9th and then travel to East Ridge on the 10th.
And finally for the for the Spring Lake Park, yes, the Spring Lake Park Wrestlers, as they've got their next matchup on Thursday at Columbia Heights. They've got a triangular at Totino Grace coming up as well. Their last time they traveled a ways to go to the Fargo Dome Invitational, came in 44th overall as a team. Also, the Season 4 gymnastics, which we'll have coming up right here on North Metro TV on Friday as well. One of our many live broadcasts we've got coming up. First, we've got basketball, but we've got gymnastics that will feature Centennial as well coming up this season. And it's just chock full of events that we can get out to, and gymnastics is nonetheless one of those venues that we cover, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be my first time covering a gymnastics meet.
I mean, I discovered how much I love gymnastics in college. It's such a complicated sport that, you know, I could never even attempt. So kudos to all of you, and it'll be a really fun thing to watch.
Yeah, I've been following up and trying to research all the moves and everything, and it just kind of makes me a little bit sore, even just looking at the pictures.
Just thinking about the moves.
Exactly. Well, we've got gymnastics coming up. Coon Rapids visiting Centennial. That's on Friday, live at 7. We'll go over everything we've got coming up, including girls basketball tomorrow, which you will have live at 7 o'clock. That is Spring Lake Park at Blaine. So we talked about it when you were in school in this conference. That wasn't something that was a rivalry, going to Spring Lake Park, you at Centennial, Blaine and Centennial. That was the main rivalry, but maybe a new one budding here.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe this is the start of a new rivalry, and who knows, maybe North Metro had budded that Blaine-Centennial rivalry early on. So we'll see. I mean, I think it's going to be a good game either way.
And as we mentioned, we've got gymnastics coming up on Friday as well, so that will get started live at 7. Everything we cover out there is live, and again, you can watch it back, northmetrotv.com. Get the DVDs. All the order information is there as well, northmetrotv.com. Next week, as we look out ahead, girls hockey, we go back to the ice. Girls hockey first, Centennial at Blaine. That'll be on Tuesday. That's a 7:30 drop of the puck. They get a little later. Everybody knows in Minnesota you have to fight for rink time, so sometimes the game get a little later. And then we'll have boys hockey on Thursday. That will be a 7 o'clock drop of the puck. That is Blaine at Centennial. So rivalry week, it seems like was just here before the break, and now all of a sudden on the ice, it's right back to the rivals as well. Pretty good weeks for multiple sports, as we saw, hockey, basketball. Hockey actually is going to take our Athlete of the Week, and Megan has that, as we've got quite the impressive list of nominees pretty much for Athlete of the Week.
Yes, but who topped the cake was Maddie Walraff of Spring Lake Park, St. Anthony Village. She's a senior forward on the girls hockey team, and some fun facts is since the first of the year, Walraff has put up 5 goals and an assist in 4 games, helping her team reach a 4-0 start in the new year. And just in this latest stretch of a great start to the season for Walraff, she has scored at least 5 goals a goal in 5 games straight, and has a total of 27 points this year. So well-deserving. Congratulations.
She had basically just one stretch of games throughout the season where she wasn't scoring. It was only about 3 or 4 games. Outside of that, she has been quite the dynamic scorer for the Spring Lake Park Panthers, St. Anthony Village Panthers, as they're having a great season. As we mentioned, one of the hotter teams in girls hockey. From Athlete of the Week to Plays of the Week. Happy that we've got some nominations here as well for Plays of the Week. We'll go through first with number 3, a game winner. You saw it before. It's the game winner for John Kelly as he takes the long pass 4 minutes into extra time. That's the Wings of Robbinsdale, Armstrong Cooper, taking the loss there with our number 3 nominee. Number 2, defense creating offense last night for the Centennial Cougars. That's Sam Deutsch. Taking the ball, swiping it, feeding it to Connor Lund. Lund had a good game with 10 points. Cougars go on to win by 3. But they're all, in my mind, and Megan, you're the basketball player up here, topped by this one. Smooth moves for Corey Bird. You'll see it in slow motion. The hesitation is the first, and then the finish is the second. So the hesitation beats his defender. Then into the lane, has to hang and shift and scoop. Hang and shift and scoop. And as a man once said, that kid is just cooler than the flip side of the pillow. And Corey Bird takes home our Play of the Week, and we'll be looking for those throughout the season as well. Plays of the Week, it's always fun to spot as we're doing the game something that might become that Play of the Week. We actually had a couple. Remember that block from the Centennial game that we saw earlier? That was right there on the cutting room floor as well for the Plays of the Week.
Exactly. It's always fun to kind of watch it live, and then, we'll talk about, we're probably going to highlight that tomorrow. So
gives us something more to say.
Yes, exactly.
Which we always like. It is Sports Den here on North Metro TV, and of course, as we mentioned, you can watch it back on NorthMetroTV.com. That goes for all of our games that we cover live here on North Metro TV, and all the order information is there as well, NorthMetroTV.com, to order a DVD of any of the games we cover. And Megan, as we come down to the close here, this is your final episode of Sports Den.
This is my final episode of Sports Den, and I would like to say thank you to everyone for having me on the show. It's been a really great fall and half a winter, and I've enjoyed every week. And
I've enjoyed my now 4 weeks with you, so it's been absolutely fun. Best of luck. We'll keep an eye on you in Portugal as you're going to play basketball.
Thank you so much.
She's Megan Knipe. I'm J.W. Cox. This is Sports Den. Again, we'll be out throughout the week. Next broadcast coming up Thursday with girls basketball.